Hello, my name is Torres, and welcome to a Patch Note Special Report, where today we'll be covering what's going on with the California versus Activision Blizzard lawsuit. Before we get into this, I just want to preface this by saying this is not fun. This is not a good, fun story. We are going to cover a lot of topics, including sexual harassment and suicide. So please be aware of that before continuing with the story. The state of California Department of Fair Employment and Housing is suing Activision Blizzard over frat boy culture that has apparently plagued this company for years, basically saying the female employees, which makes up about 20% of the staff, are more than likely to get lower pay than what they are worth, and are frequently targeted for sexual harassment in the workplace. The women are often subjected to cube crawls, in which the male employees drink a lot of alcohol and make their way through the women's workspace and harass their female coworkers both verbally and physically. Higher ranking executives often engage in sexual harassment without repercussions, including one case where a female employee took her own life during a business trip with a male supervisor who brought lube and butt plugs on the trip. Along with this, women are very frequently getting denied better opportunities, hardly ever getting promoted, and if they are not getting equal pay as their male counterparts, and were often assigned lower level roles regardless of their qualifications. Women of color are more often vulnerable to these discriminatory practices, most notably African American women. In one case, one employee noted how it took her 2 years to be made a permanent employee, unlike her male counterparts. And another employee notes how if she were to request time off, her manager would request a one-page summary on what she would do with that time off. Meanwhile, none of her male counterparts had to do anything. Another way women were being discriminated against is if they got pregnant. A female employee assumed some of the responsibilities of her manager, and when she brought up getting fairly paid and a promotion, her manager said that they could not risk promoting her as she might get pregnant and like being a mother too much. One person that was specifically called out in the lawsuit was Alex Afrasabi, the former senior creative director of World of Warcraft, for blatant sexual harassment, with little to no repercussions. During BlizzCon, Afrasabi would hit on female employees, try to kiss them, and put his arm around them, even saying he wants to marry them. And it was so bad that other people had to intervene and pull him off of the female employees. And he was known to harass women that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite. The suit says Crosby, but it might be a misspelling because it refers to Bill Cosby. Apparently, President J. Allen Brack had talked to Afrasabi about his behavior, but it wouldn't result in anything more than just a slap on the wrist. The suit has way more details, so I highly suggest reading into it yourself, but for now let's discuss the reaction to the suit. In an email to Blizzard employees, President Alan J. Brack said the allegations and the hurt of current and former employees are extremely troubling. While I can't comment on the specifics of the case, as it's an open investigation, what I can say is that the behavior detailed in the allegation is completely unacceptable. He continues by saying, people with different backgrounds, views, and experiences are essential for Blizzard, our team, and our player community. I disdain bro culture and have spent my career fighting against it. And he closes by saying, the leadership team and I will be meeting with many of you to answer questions and discuss how we can move forward. In the meantime, I want you to know that you can talk to any manager, any HR partner, any member of our legal team, or to anyone on the executive team. If you feel more comfortable talking to someone outside of Blizzard, or prefer to be anonymous, you can contact the Way to Play integrity line. I feel angry, sad, and a host of other emotions, but I also feel grateful to work alongside a set of leaders and thousands of employees who join me in their commitment to continuous improvements. However, in a separate email to Blizzard employees, Fran Townsend, another Blizzard executive, who was like the Secretary of Defense for George Bush, said a recently filed lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company, including factually incorrect, old, and out of context stories, some from more than a decade ago. Adding, the Activision companies of today, the Activision companies that I know, are great companies with good values. When I joined the executive leadership team, I was certain that I was joining a company where I would be valued, treated with respect, and provided opportunities equal to those afforded to the men of the company. For me, this has been true during my time. As a leader, I am committed to making sure that the experience I have is the same as the rest of the organization. We have the leadership team that is committed to these principles in every way. And she closes by saying, we work at a company that truly values equality and fairness. Rest assured that leadership is committed to continuing to maintain a safe, fair, and inclusive workplace. We cannot let egregious actions of others and truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit damage our culture of respect and equal opportunity for all employees. We continue to hold firm to our principles and invest, as we have in the past, the resources to ensure quality opportunities for all employees. We remain committed as a leadership team to doing what is right. And also, many former employees shared their experiences on Twitter, one being Alex, who now works for EA, who tweeted, "I left Blizzard after my boss gaslit me so badly my hair started falling out. My profit sharing, which I relied on to make ends meet, was docked due to underperforming. And when I went to HR to fight it with proof against his claims, I was told, maybe you are underperforming." Along with this, Stephanie Kurtzik, former employee of Blizzard, also said, "I'm going to come out and say it. I was one of these women. My incident happened in 2013 at BlizzCon. I didn't say anything officially until I left the company a year later, because of the name recognition and fear of retaliation." And of course, many people have shown their support for the victims, including news outlets such as Prima Games, The Gamer, Switch Player, and more have said they will no longer cover Activision Blizzard until there is significant change. A lot of news outlets have come out and said that they're going to stop covering Activision Blizzard in as a result of this lawsuit against them of sexual harassment and all these claims. And which leads to the question, should we cover a company that has done such horrible things? Or like, because like it is part of the industry. It's a very big part of the industry. But should we give them that attention?
I personally don't think so.
You don't think we should cover it, or you don't think we should?
I don't think we should talk about Activision, like, whatever. It's just because, like, it's. I don't. It's just such a terrible, terrible thing that is like, I don't even want to give them the time of day to, like, even read or think about them. Because, like, yeah. That's my opinion. That's my thing.
And Greg put this. I was watching KFGD today being Friday, September 23rd, and Greg had said, it is part of like the news, the journalists and like the commentators, to kind of give you the details of like what's going on and for the consumer to make their own decision. And I think there is a responsibility to talk about what shitty things are going on. But we also need to be better about covering the good stuff that is happening as well. Not necessarily with Activision, I'm not talking about them. But for example, Insomniac. After Ratchet and Clank came out, a Rift Apart, the developers came out and said we had no crunch. It was actually perfect working conditions working on this game. And that did not come up on my radar, and we didn't cover it. Apparently, Riot Games has been getting a little bit better, but that still hasn't come up on my radar, and we haven't covered it. And I just think it's easier for us to not cover Activision, or because we don't really do reviews, we don't really do like playthroughs or what you may have it. Like we don't really do like let's plays of Overwatch or Call of Duty or whatever. So it's easier for us to like kind of skeet around it. But when it comes to talking about like the hardships of what's going on in this industry and the bullshit that like many women have to endure, many people of color have to endure, there's a part of me that does see it as important to cover. Not necessarily promote them. Like for example, when we covered Assassin's Creed, I brought up the sexual assault allegation because I was like, well, this Assassin's Creed, if anything, might be painting Ubisoft in a good light. We need to remember what's going on at Ubisoft. But that's my stance on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I took a more personal route. I definitely wasn't thinking about the journalism aspect of it. That just wasn't the first thing that came to mind. So
of course,
I can definitely see like it's a journalist's duty to cover these things, the good and the bad. Like that's just part of the job. My degree for 2 years was journalism. Like we learned about that in school. Like you need to cover it's important for people to know and not have things just not discussed, because these are important things to talk about and be brought up. So I can definitely see from the journalism point of view that like they have to be talked about.
And I think it'd be very hypocritical of me to force you to cover this story when I have asked you if we cannot cover the upcoming Harry Potter game because I do not agree with J.K. Rowling.
Mhm.
This is something that has been kind of off camera. We haven't really talked about, but I have asked me kind of like I told her like I don't want to cover the new Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy
Mhm.
game because I don't agree with what J.K. Rowling said. And I kind of said full stop. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And so, which is why I ask you, should we be covering stories like this? Because they are important, but I understand if it's so horrible and heinous that it's something we shouldn't cover at all.
Mhm. It's just such like a hard, heavy thing to decide because it's a hard, heavy topic. So it's like I honestly I don't know. Like that is just my straight up honest answer because it's like I can go both ways. I can
Yeah.
give reasons for both yes and no. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
So let's just leave it at this. For now, unless something else comes up in the story, this is the last time we will probably discuss Activision Blizzard. Yeah, like I said, unless something comes out like meaningful in the
Mhm.
story, we're not going to discuss anything to come out of that company. And we wish nothing but the best for the people that still work there, except for the higher ups that are clearly just making the culture worse for everybody there. And because you can't really blame all of the employees either, because some of them they just need a job,
Mhm.
and that's what they have. And like, it's so hard. It's a hard topic to navigate. I just think for now, this is an important story to put out there, but it might be the last time we cover something like this in such detail.
Mhm.
It is important, of course, to believe victims, and we stand with the victims of Activision Blizzard, with all the women that worked there, who formerly worked there, who continue to work there. We wish you nothing but the best.